everyone, in this video I'm going to be walking you through some possible solutions for some of the questions in sections 15-1, 15-2, and 15-3. So let's get started. The first question we're going to go over is question 5 from section 15-1, and this question reads, Jason Sang, the disc jockey for DJs on Demand, needs a list of the past events and those planned for the upcoming months so that he can make arrangements for each event's equipment setup. As the company manager, you do not want him to have access to the price that clients paid for their events. Create a view for Jason to use that displays the name of the event date, and the event description, or the theme description. Use aliases for each column name. Okay. So, we know that we need to use some information to create this view. So we know we're going to be creating a view right here. And we know that we only want the event date, and the theme description, because we don't want him to have access to any of that other information. And that we need to use column aliases for each column name. So we'll go ahead and start with the create view statement. So we're going to have our creator replace view, and we're going to name it view d events, and then we'll have our information. So we'll have as, and then we're going to go ahead and select the information that we want to include. So we've got a select statement with event.name and we've got an alias of name of event, and then we're going to have event date, and then we're going to have the description, and they all have aliases. So then we have a from statement. So we've got from the events, we've got event, and we're going to use an enter join because we're using the themes table to get the theme code. So we're going to enter join d themes, and then on event.theme code equals theme code. And then we've got a where statement where event date is less than or equal to the upcoming events, add months. So we want them. So we've got that there. So this is going to be roughly what your code looks like. You don't have to use a 2-character if you don't want to for the event date. And there's some other things that you could have done differently that are absolutely still a great solution for this question. But we'll go ahead and go into SQL and see what should happen when you run your code, whether it looks a little different or not. So we'll go ahead and go into Apex and see what happens when we run our code. I've got our code here in Apex, and when you click run, what should happen is down here in the results panel, you should see that it says view created. And if you want to check to make sure that everything ran properly and you've got the correct columns and everything, you can select all from view d events and run your code, and you'll see that you've got the event name, event date, and theme description, and then you've got these 2 rows of data. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next question. The next question we're going to go over is question 4 from section 15-2. And this question reads, create a view based on the DJs on Demand copy DCDs table. Name the view read copy DCDs. Select all columns to be included in the view. Add a where clause to restrict the year to 2000. Add the with read only option. So based on what we're being told here, we need to name our view read copy DCDs, and we want to select all of the columns, and we want only the year 2000, and we want it to be with read only. So to begin with, we'll have our create or replace view, and then the name of our view, which is going to be read copy DCDs, and then we have as, and next we're going to have what we want included in our view. So we're going to select all from the copy DCDs table, where the year is equal to 2000, and then with read only. So we've covered everything that was in the question. We've got our name here. We've got all of the columns from the copy DCDs table, but only from the year 2000. And we've got that with read only, which basically means that it can't be edited. So we'll go ahead and go into Apex and see what happens when we run our code. Okay, I've copied our code into Apex, and we'll go ahead and click run. And again, we should see that in the results panel, we have view created. And we can go ahead and select all from read copy DCDs to check our table. So you can see that we've got our columns, all of our columns down here, and 2 rows of data, both with the year 2000. And because this is a read-only view, we shouldn't be able to make any changes to the view. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next question. The last question we're going to go over is question 5 from section 15-2. And this question says, using the read copy DCDs view, execute a delete from read copy DCDs where CD number equals 90. So the read copy DCDs is the view that we just created in the previous question. And we're basically given the exact statement that we're going to be using. So we've got our delete from read copy DCDs, and then where CD number equals 90. So it's basically right there in the question what we're supposed to run. And we're supposed to be running this to see what happens when you try to execute code. And remember that this was a view that we created that is supposed to be read only. So we'll go ahead and go into Apex and see what happens when we try to run this code. I've copied our code into Apex, and we'll go ahead and click run. And what you should see is that you're going to get an error down here. And that's because the table that we are trying to delete from, or the view rather, is a read-only view. And so you should be getting this error because, and it says down here, it's a read-only view. It can't perform this function. So that's what should happen when you try to run that code on your read-only view. You shouldn't be able to make any changes like that to the table. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next question.